Hello there, and welcome to Alvarez's Diecast Customs. Now today we're going to be working on this Hot Wheels 1970s Ford Escort RS1600. Pretty cool looking car to begin with out the box. Got that sort of rally style to it. I do love these cars, especially the Mark II version of it though. But Hot Wheels don't seem to do a version of that one, so we're going with the first one, the Mark I. Anyway, let's just take a closer look at it. Yep, looks good so far. Really like the look of this one. I do like the widened wheel arches on it as well. Certainly not keen on the wheels that they've gone and fitted on this thing. I've already taken the time to drill the base out on this. Just start off with a 2mm drill bit, then work up to a 5mm to remove the main piece of the head off. And then just use these 5mm self-tapping screws to screw the base back on. There's our interior piece. Pretty cool looking. I do like the little details there, especially with the little fire extinguisher on the passenger side. It's got the front and rear bumpers attached to it. There's our window piece in the smoked clear plastic. Pretty good as it is. Not overly keen on those oversized spotlights on the front, so I may go about removing those. But also on the body, they've actually made a cutout for those to come through, so I may go about filling that in. Nice little details on the rear there with the rear tail lights. Yep, let's go get that stripped. And we can start about moving these wheels. They should just pop straight out of the base there. Not much resistance from those. And on this chassis piece, I was thinking maybe about lowering it a few millimeters. You see these little sort of semicircle things that they put on the bottom there to stop the wheels from being completely crushed when they get stood on by children. I'm going to go about removing those later on. So the paint's been stripped. I selected some wheels out of my wheel bag and they look quite good, but I don't think I'll stick with those in the end. So yeah, just sat it in a pot of paint stripper for about an hour. After that, just clean it off with an old toothbrush under a tap, and this is what you're left with. I like to go around the body with this diamond file just to clear up some of the edges. Just neaten it all up. You get quite a bit of casting lines on these things at times, so best way about removing them is just doing this to it. It's quite a significant one on the front bonnet here, which I go about smoothing over really well. And also on the rear bonnet, or rear boot I should say. Yeah, that's what you're left with after that. It's all looking good. So as I said, I want to go about removing the spotlights on this. Let's get on with that. So what I'll be doing is using some milliput just to fill in these little holes. You've seen me do this before on some of my previous builds, so I won't bore you with the details of putting all this thing together. Already taken the time to do all this, it's all ready to go. Just let that dry. So yep, that's all nice and hard, ready to start shaping it to what I need. So I'd just like to use this scalpel. Just remove some of the majority of the material that I can using the scalpel. And then I'll go about the fine details of it using the diamond file again. There we go, just shape that to what the body details were like. It's come together quite nicely. You've got that sort of split bumper on the front due to the spotlights. May go about filling that in with a bit of plastic card. And the window piece with those spotlights, we're going to have to go about cutting those off. So I'll just use these side cutters and simply just clip them off. I'll just test fit everything again just to make sure it's all going together correctly, and it is. Happy with that. Now we're just test fitting it all again back with the wheels. I've actually gone and selected some different wheels because I wasn't overly keen on those ones that I selected. So I got these from Treads 164. These look like a better fit. Definitely more what I wanted to go with on this build here. So yeah, these look much more suitable. Really do like the way they look on that. So I'll save those other wheels for another build, and I'll be using these. Not quite happy with how high the body sits on the wheels on this thing, so I'll go about lowering that, as I said. So how I'm going to achieve this is those semicircle things on the bottom. I'm just going to grind those off on a bit of sandpaper on the bench. Nothing fancy about it, literally just grind the crap off of it. You can see that they've been removed significantly. Much better fit. Now because of that, I need to raise the axles up slightly. So where the axles rest on the body interior, I'll just be filing a little notch out on these by about a couple of millimeters just to let the wheels sit up a bit higher. So using just this silver Sharpie to mark the grinding distance I need to go for. I'll just use my diamond file again and just slowly work it, grinding away that material. There we go. Test fit all that again. But in the meantime, I'm going to fill in that bumper space. So I'll just be using this little off-cut plastic card and just filling it in. Just roughly sizing it up. Just be cutting a small rectangle piece out of it and gluing it in with some super glue. Yeah, just slot straight in there. It's a bit of a tight fit. After it had dried, I just took those diamond files again and shaped it. So I went ahead and painted it sort of an off-white colour, just as the car came with, to be honest, but I did like the way it looked, and I blacked out the bonnet using some matte black on the bonnet. These paints specifically are from the Halfords range, which are spray cans. I initially painted over the body with a grey primer, and then just went over it with the spray cans of the white and black. I'll just be adding some extra details to this using a silver Sharpie again. I'll just be going around the window trims on here, just picking those out in the silver Sharpie. I usually use the Molotow chrome pen, but sometimes that can be a bit heavy, and the clear coat I'm using may have reacted with it, so I wanted to avoid it. I'll also just be picking out the rear tail lights as well. I have a plan with those because, as always, I do like to go over them in the Tamiya clear red and orange just to make them look a bit more, like a little bit more depth to them. Usually quite a good effect when you do that with the silver paint underneath. I'll also just be filling in the grille in the black paint. And not forgetting to paint the chassis either in that black paint. The ends of this did get hit with the white paint as well, with the primer initially. And you also noticed I've actually extended the exhaust pipe on this. I simply just grinded away the previous one that it came with, the plastic moulded thing, and then just glued on a bit of brass tubing. We'll just get on to painting some of this interior as well. This got hit with a primer coat straight out of the can. I'll just be picking some extra details out with some Revell silver. As you'll notice, I'm not actually painting over the seats on this, I'll be painting those in later on in a black paint. Also, not forgetting to paint in the bumpers on this thing as well. And another little detail as well on the chassis piece. Where the wheel well was cut out on the interior, you can see some of the flooring. So I'll just paint that in the silver paint too. And we can go about painting those seats in black. And I'll also be picking out some extra details on the chassis using this silver pen again. And in addition to the silver pen, I'll just be using this Tamiya metallic grey just to pick out some other details on the chassis. Gives a bit more sort of contrast to some of the colours on there. Quite nicely detailed as it is. Just wanted to highlight some of the details. And there we go, let that dry off. And as I said, I like to go over the tail lights on this using the Tamiya clears. So starting off with just the Tamiya clear orange to pick out the indicator lights on the side bits. To give those a dollop of orange paint. And then we can use the Tamiya clear red as well just to put on the brake lights. Yep, looking good. I do like the way that looks after you do that. And as always, it isn't one of my builds without some Citadel Nuln oil. So I'll just be using some liberal amounts of this on the interior just to pick out some of the details and give it a bit more depth. It's essentially just a black wash. Just gives a really good effect for everything, just ties everything together. Also doing the chassis with the same stuff all over this. So we're pretty much done now really, just got to let that dry off. But it's just looking a bit too plain for my liking. So I've got a plan and I'll be right back. In the meantime, don't forget to check me out on Instagram under Alvarez Azel. I've got some teasers up on there for some of my upcoming videos and other bits and bobs, some random customs and some of my artwork up on there. So if you feel like checking that out, do give me a follow on there. Got quite a bit of content up there already you can check out. So let's get on with building it. Back together, you'll notice I've put some decals on the side of this, but you won't be able to see them fully until I reveal the whole thing. There's our interior piece you see with all the Nuln oil dried up, really nicely detailed that is. And those great little wheels. Added a little bit of detail on the wheel nuts with some of the Nuln oil. Chassis piece, that had a clear coat. Straight out of a spray can, it's just a Rust-Oleum matte coat. There's our screws that I like to use. These are literally just some 5mm self-tapping screws off of eBay. Buy a bag for a couple of pounds. Lasts you a lifetime really, for how many customs I do. So yeah, before I reveal it, let's take a look at what we started with. As it was a great looking Ford Escort. Really do like the look of these things. Just felt there was a bit of a difference I could do with it. Sort of make it into a bit more of a, I guess, a Hoonigan sort of Ken Block style look to it. So here's what we ended up with. So yeah, I went ahead and used some Monster Energy decals for this thing. Honestly, hate the drink myself. I can't drink it at all. It's too sweet. But as a sort of a designer point of view, I really like the design, the stylings of it. Just gives a really good sort of a Hoonigan style to it. So yeah, decided to go with them. I did go over the entire body using a matte coat, neglecting to go with the gloss coat. I thought a matte version would look a lot better. I really like the final effect of using the matte. Really different. So yeah, just really came together quite nicely, this one. Bit of a difference to what I've been doing recently. Been kind of out of it for the past month or so after doing that DeLorean custom. I've had some health issues that I've had to take care of. I'm slowly on the mend, thankfully, after some hospital appointments and some medication that I've had to be taking. But yeah, not good times at the moment, but as I said, thankfully on the mend. So really pleased to get back into the swing of things. Just completely lost motivation over the last month to do any of this. So I'm definitely glad to be back. So we'll just take some more closer shots of this. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me put this one together. As I said, it's been about a month since my last. It's certainly not going to be that much of a gap between my next video. Hopefully I'll get my next one up over the next week or two. I've definitely already got some plans up for it. Like I said, do check out my Instagram account. You'll get some teasers up on there for my next video and some more beyond that. Also quite a lot of content up on there already with some of my previous customs that I've done over my time. But yeah, those wheels, as I said, they come from treads164.com. I also bought another bunch of wheels off of them, as you can see here. Got some plans already for a lot of these coming up, so do stick around for that. So yeah, this has been Alvarez's Diecast Customs. I do hope you have enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.